2 lecturers have been convicted for changing 100 to 1,100.
The professor of law, whose 3 decades of career was in the academic environment, told lawmakers at the screening that he will improve on the achievements recorded over the years with regards to integrity, transparency and accountability in the country's electoral system.
One of the things that we have to do is to work out an internal mechanism that we can use to trail the behavior of humans. In the first place, I'm taking this position on trust, and the people who I'm going to work with, they must also appreciate the fact that they are there on trust.
Professor Amupiton is the 6th chairman of the commission since the return of democracy in 1999. Senate plenary featured the defection of Senator Benson Komboe, representing Bayelsa Central, from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And earlier today at the House of Representatives, a special valedictory session was held in honor of late former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Agunwa Anekwe. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, described the late former Speaker as one of several presiding officers who strengthened Nigeria's legislature through integrity rather than ambition. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ipen tells us more.
It was a solemn occasion with the body of the late former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Agunwa Anekwe, lying in state at the foyer of the National Assembly complex. At a young age of 36, Anekwe presided as Speaker of the House of Representatives between 1992 and 1993, and parliamentarians in this special valedictory session eulogized him as a principled advocate of democratic ideals who contributed immensely in shaping the moral compass of the legislature.
He upheld the sanctity of this House and demonstrated that even in turbulent periods, legislative order can be preserved.
When the military enacted a decree that limited the powers of the House, Honorable Agwa Onekwe, as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, not only preached the gospel of democracy, but championed that cause and practicalized it by standing firmly against that obnoxious and draconian decree.
Even when the military struck on November 17, 1993, Right Honorable Agunwa Anekwe was determined to reconvene the House of Representatives.
He will be remembered by the things he handed out to others and by the lives he touched.
Asked the federal government to name a national monument after this former Speaker.
Our National Assembly then had many entitlements that the government should settle.
We are comforted by the very kind words that have been said about him today.
As the House adjourns plenary for the day to honor the former Speaker who died in July this year, his homeward journey terminates with funeral rites at his country home in Anambra State. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Now to other news. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, has acknowledged that the partnership between the federal government and the Borno State government in the aviation sector is crucial, with the potential to impact the economy positively. The minister was in Maiduguri and visited completed and ongoing federal and state government projects. Let's take a listen to Saliu Akwanara's report.
Borno State is one of Nigeria's gateway to neighboring countries in the continent like Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, with a high record of intra-continent trade. To boost global businesses and stimulate Nigeria's agenda for economic growth and job creation, the General Muhammadu Buhari International Airport in Maiduguri is being repositioned for enhanced service delivery.
This facility that we are standing here is actually a federal government facility, but because of the cooperation between the federal government and the subnational, the state government asked for, and the federal government approved, that they can also extend this facility to have an international wing, so that truly Maiduguri Airport or Muhammadu Buhari Airport can truly become an international airport. We have just gone around to see the facilities, with all of you. It's really remarkable what we have seen. And I think that what this tells me is that government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the sub-nationals are really working for the people of Nigeria. And we will continue to do that.
The synergy between federal government and Borno State also impact the road infrastructure with the construction of new flyovers. The government image promoter assured that Renewed Hope government is deliberate in providing developmental projects across the country. In Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says robust partnerships built on shared values can promote stronger health system, expand access to education and offer hope to families across Nigeria. She was speaking at the 12th edition of the Merck Foundation First Ladies Initiative Committee meeting in Abuja, Gambia. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Again, Merck Foundation brought together African First Ladies, their convergence in Banjul, Gambia, to explore their shared vision for a healthier, better educated, and more empowered continent.
My commitment is driven through the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has taken major strides in this regard through our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative, and at the meeting, she highlighted interventions in the health sector, including the donation of $2 million to support advocacy and treatment for cervical cancer and tuberculosis as part of its commitment to eliminating both diseases by 2030. She recalled similar impact in the education sector with the provision of annual scholarships to 47 indigent students in universities for 3 consecutive years. According to the First Lady, these collaborations and partnerships have continued to yield success stories across the nook and crannies of Nigeria.
We are glad to inform this gathering that we were awarded 71 scholarships, and we appreciate Merck Foundation for the education intervention, which aligns perfectly with our RHI goals of promoting access to education for all, especially the girl child. And for medical scholarship with Merck, a total of 82 scholarships have been awarded to Nigerian doctors in critical and underserved medical specialties, an increase of 19 scholarships since our last committee meeting. I'm looking forward to how we can expand our collaboration. The more I understand the great work you have been doing, and the more I begin to appreciate our collaboration.
Our ambition is to reach more people, transform more lives, and build more connections across sectors, nations, and generations.
So on children and young people to raise awareness about cancer, which is very, very, very critical and important, especially for children, because it's curable. Children cancer is curable, so it is preventable, curable, so we need to have awareness about it.
The meeting saw First Ladies from African countries making presentations on key interventions bordering on women and children's health and education. Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
And now to education. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has called on all accredited tertiary institutions across the country to update and upload the records of their students, both returning and newly admitted, on the NELFund Student Verification Portal. A statement by the Director of Strategic Communications, Oseyemi Oluwatoyin, explains that only students whose details have been duly uploaded and verified through their respective institutions will be eligible to apply and benefit from the loan scheme. The statement further notes that institutions are expected to ensure that each student's data is accurately captured and uploaded using the admission number or any other unique and verifiable identifier. According to NELFund, the exercise is aimed at ensuring a seamless verification and loan application process once the portal opens for the 2025-2026 academic session. And still on tertiary education, the Federal Ministry of Education has issued a strong denial against a false report circulating in the media, which claimed that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, is no longer required for university and polytechnic admissions in Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, categorically stated that the publication is baseless and did not originate from the ministry, affirming that the established admission process remains fully operational. The ministry also reaffirmed that JAMB remains the statutory and legally empowered body for conducting entrance examinations and coordinating admissions. Dr. Alausa emphasized the ministry's unwavering collaboration with JAMB to uphold the integrity of the admission system and urged the public, including students and parents, to disregard the misinformation and rely solely on official communication channels for accurate updates. And the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has officially distanced itself from a planned #Free Nnamdi Kanu protest allegedly organized by Omoele Sowore, calling the claims false and a malicious attempt to drag the student body into political controversy. The group says that the matter of Nnamdi Kanu is a legal issue before a competent court, emphasizing its commitment to the rule of law and peaceful engagement and refusing to take a partisan position. The association warned parents and guardians to caution their children against being used by selfish politicians and urged the public and security agencies to disregard any messages claiming NAN's involvement in the protest, reaffirming its focus on education and national unity.
Any protest organized or influenced by Omoyele Sowore or any other political motivated group or individual, the entire claim is false, mysterious and designed to drag the name of our noble association into political controversies that do not align with our mandate as a student body. As the umbrella body representing all Nigerian students, both home and abroad, NANS believes strongly in the role of law, due process, and peaceful engagement.
We'll take a break. The news continues in a moment. Don't go away. You're watching NTA Network News, and let's bring you up to speed with other news. As the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Google, and the Global Training Academy, Apolitical, are upscaling artificial intelligence skills of civil servants. Now, this is for enhanced productivity in a push towards achieving the present administration's mandate of growing the economy to $1 trillion. Chidima Ndubisi reports that the government has launched an AI campus in Abuja, engaging heads of government establishments to drive AI adoption across public offices.
Colleague Musa here is a business news correspondent, and sometimes he will need to analyze and compare some data of some economic reports to meet up with certain news bulletins. That could be tasking, but with the help of AI tools, the task becomes easier. Imagine drafting memos, managing data tasks in record time, providing government services that run beyond office hours. That's part of benefits that abound in deepening use of AI, artificial intelligence, in workplaces, and that's where the nation's public service is headed. A number of people are conversant with AI, but it's about using the right tools and prompts to get required results. That's why the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, with the support of Google and Apolitical, is building skills of civil servants on AI tools. A pointer to Nigerian government's efforts in prioritizing the use of AI for increased productivity and economic growth.
By developing one of the most talked about artificial intelligence strategies on the African continent, by ensuring that we're investing in training talent, being the first African country to release the government-backed.
How can we build that value chain whereby, even with the kind of connection that you have, how can you rely on the access that somebody else has and use the wisdom and intelligence from their experience with AI and other technologies to enhance your own life?
Think about it in terms of time, time saved, time used more efficiently, but also in terms of tasks. I think that certain tasks will disappear, will go to AI and they will do them, but that's not the same as jobs disappearing.
Workers who master AI tools can even use them in creating innovations. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
The federal government is assuring Nigerians of an enabling environment for massive food production in its bid to eradicate hunger and malnutrition in the country. The Ministers of Agriculture and Food Security and that of Livestock Development gave the assurance when they joined farmers in commemorating the 2025 World Food Day. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
World Food Day is an international observance held on 16 October every year to promote food security and raise awareness about poverty and hunger. This awareness campaign inspired work in the federal capital. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Ali Sabi Abdullahi and the Minister of Livestock Development Muktari Idi Meha, alongside development partners including the FAO, participated in the event. The theme for this year's commemoration is Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future.
Hand in Hand is a collective idea, it's a collaborative idea, and we are going to bring what we think is global thinking but local action. And the action we bring together will help us to deliver on this better food and a better future.
As we celebrate World Food Today, let us remember the vital role that livestock play in our journey towards a food-secure world. Let us work hand in hand, governments, the private sector, development partners, and the communities to invest in and support the livestock.
A recent survey indicates that Nigeria is becoming more food secure, with production increasing and food inflation decreasing nationwide. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And to judicial matters, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, has clarified that no inmates have yet been released under the recent presidential clemency exercise, stating that the process is currently in its final administrative stage. This phase involves a standard meticulous review of the approved list to ensure full compliance with all legal and procedural requirements before any official instrument of release is issued to the Comptroller General of Corrections. Fagbemi emphasized that this verification protocol reflects the government's commitment to due diligence and transparency, while also appreciating the public's vigilance on the matter. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is expected to open his defense in the 8-count charge bordering on alleged terrorism on October 23, 2025. Now, this followed the submission of the Nigerian Medical Association's panel appointed by the court, which declared Nnamdi Kanu medically fit to face his trial. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
The Federal High Court ordered panel of the Nigerian Medical Association has declared that the health condition of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is not life-threatening. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, ordered the medical assessment amid conflicting reports from doctors representing the prosecution and the defense. The panel's findings submitted to the court on October 13, 2025 by the prosecution team led by Adegbooyega Awomolo SAN and partly read during Thursday proceedings confirmed that Kanu is medically fit to stand trial. With no objections from the prosecution and defense counsel, Justice Omotosho ruled that the trial would continue. The trial judge also granted Nnamdi Kanu 6 consecutive days starting from October 23, 2025, to present and conclude his defense. The court equally granted the request by Kanu's lead counsel, Kanu Agabi, SAN, to allow private consultations between the defendant and his legal team outside the premises of the Department of State Services, citing fears that conversations could be recorded and monitored. The judge directed that the private consultations take place in the courtroom on October 22, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 12 noon with only Kanu and his counsel present. The trial will resume on October 23, 2025. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Candidates of the various political parties jostling for the #1 seat in Anambra State have intensified their grassroots campaigns and mobilization ahead of the November 8 governorship election. Uchenna Nwekoyo tells us more.
The candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) and the governor of the state, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has continued his community tour, where he promised the electorate that if allowed to continue with another term of 4 years, Anambra would meet her desired goal of becoming the best state in global map.
With all the things going on everywhere, all the local governments and most communities touched one way or the other, these past 3 years we still have not borrowed one kobo.
In the meantime, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu, and his running mate, Senator Uche Kunife, believe that if given the opportunity, a lot more will be done in improving the infrastructure and security of lives and property in the state.
Nobody will deceive you anymore. APC, Tinubu is APC. We are APC. We are Tinubu.
In another development, the candidate of the Action Alliance (AA), Comrade Jeff Nweke, said if elected, improving the well-being of the masses will be his top priority.
What we want is quality education. What we want is quality infrastructure.
In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekoyo, NTA News.
We'll take a pause from here in Abuja to join Adiola in our Lagos network studio for more news from that axis. Hello, Adiola.
Jumai for joining us in Lagos. To create a conducive business environment for auto assembly plants in Nigeria, the House of Representatives has pledged its support to encourage innovation and improve productivity through legislation. Chairman House Committee on Industry made the pledge during the committee's visits to some auto and assembly plants in Lagos. Ime Udori reports that it is part of the committee's oversight function to assess the state of the automotive industry in Nigeria. Her report is here presented.
Determined to drive innovation, advance local assembly, and empower the nation's automotive sector, this visit is an important step in aligning legislative support with the needs of the industry and area of intervention. The House Committee on Industry, led by its chairman, Enitan Dolapo Badru, toured 3 facilities in Lagos known for the assembly and fabrication of vehicles, motorbikes and tricycles.
There used to be a time when they used to do hire purchase. But where would they get money to pay 37% or 38% or even 24% as interest rates? We need to work on this, work through the central bank, work through all the banks, and work through even the regulators and the assemblers.
The need to regulate policies for the growth of the country's automotive industry to position Nigeria as a leading automotive manufacturing nation with international standards was emphasized.
We've seen the increment in number of labor, the employment compared to what it has been, then they are increasing. And we hope, and we are working with them, that things will get better. On our own part, we are supporting them with necessary policy.
It is hoped that the visit will help to evaluate the current state of the automotive industry in Nigeria with potential policy recommendations to boost the industry's growth.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation has called on all federal civil servants to embrace the newly introduced digital initiatives and platforms to enable them deliver on national development goals. Didi Wilson-Jack stated this while interacting with federal civil servants in Lagos. Larry Bileyi has details.
The understanding that the greatest asset of any civil service lies in its people, who are the workforce, informed the visit of the head of civil service of the Federation to Lagos State. She described the visit as more than just checking on the infrastructure, but reaffirming of the service resolve to create an enabling environment where civil servants can thrive and deliver quality service to Nigerians. Didi Walson-Jack stated further that it is also an opportunity to emphasize the goal of digitization as the fifth pillar of reform in the Federal Civil Service Implementation Plan 25.
We're actually undergoing a digital transformation in the Federal Civil Service, and one of the things that we're saying is that by 31st December 2025, the Federal Civil Service would go paperless. We recently introduced several digital tools to help civil servants to deliver better quality service.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation also revealed that there is an online Federal Civil Service Academy, a learning platform offering online training modules and professional development courses. She urged civil servants to embrace the digital civil service that promises to entrench new culture of efficiency, excellence, and accountability. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
And we are done with a contribution from Lagos. The network news will continue after this break.
Good to know you're here, and it's our time we talk business. We start by telling you that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, are working towards listing more than 1,000 SMEs on the capital market, as well as ensuring access to long-term financing from the capital market. The partnership is designed to create alternative sources of capital for the country's more than 40 million registered micro, small, and medium enterprises, helping them grow, creating jobs, and contributing to the federal government $1 trillion economy target. Director of the SEC, Dr. Momotimi Agama, believes the initiative would open new funding routes for SMEs and integrate them into the capital market ecosystem. While Charles O.D. of Smeden believes the partnership would enable small businesses to overcome the high cost and scarcity of capital by leveraging the capital market. The agreement between the two agencies seeks to deepen the integration of SMEs into the formal financial system and help them meet regulatory and governance standards required for the market participation. The MOU further provides for the establishment of a joint working group to monitor the implementation. And a quick look at the market, talking about the Nigerian stock market. At this time, the stock market maintained its upward trajectory on Thursday, marking a second consecutive gain as the all-share index advanced 0.41% to close at 148,355.04 basis points, up from 147,742.22 basis points. And looking at South African market actually gained with 1.43%, while the Tunisia Tune Index is still in red, talking about the bears are still there for investors to take advantage of. That is it on business at this time. Jumai, you can take it from here.
Thank you so much, Benny. We'll take another break. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. Nigeria's health sector coordinating office is meeting with international donors at World Bank meetings ahead of Nigeria's joint annual review summit in November. National Coordinator of Nigeria's Health Sector-Wide Approach Office, Dr. Muntaha Umar Sadiq, says the government is set to convene a meeting next month of local, state and federal health officials, as well as multilateral institutions, international donors and civil society organizations to conduct a joint review of health sector performance in Nigeria. The coordinator was speaking at a breakfast fundraising meeting with officials from the Global Financing Fund at the 2025 annual meeting of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C. Dr. Umar Sadiq further noted that significant new investments in the sector are aimed at reducing maternal mortality, protecting vulnerable groups from health crises, and building up Nigeria's health infrastructure.
And understand how to align and build the right partnerships to accelerate our ability to crush maternal and neonatal mortality over the coming years.
Now, Nigeria's pension scheme is expected to continually implement best practices that ensure speedy access to retirement benefits, which is also an affirmation of the right of Nigerians to comprehensive retirement plans. To this end, the nation's Pension Commission has organized a workshop for PENCOM desk officers and pensioners of federal government MDAs. Larry Bele has details.
Introduced in 2004 through the Pension Reform Act, the nation's contributory pension scheme has been an anchor for Nigerian workers. To be more effective in service delivery, PENCOM, in conjunction with National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, communicated to critical stakeholders key interventions introduced to make pension scheme a haven for Nigerian retirees.
There are two exercises that have been lined up. One is the normal enrollment process, which we do on a yearly basis. The second one is the one-time enrollment process that we are trying to do. And what does that entail? It means that for every public service worker who served before the implementation of the Pension Reform Act of 2004, we want to take a one-time enrollment of everyone.
The workshop will also afford PENCOM desk officers to know about the upgraded app that the PENCOM is introducing to them for a seamless enrollment of retirees.
It makes the work faster for us. We stay in the comfort of the office and then we upload what we need to upload on the portal.
The scheme has also introduced strong pension administrators. The workshop also aims to deepen trust, bolster ties, and review retirement process to make it more efficient. In Lagos, Larry Pilayi, NTA News.
And Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi has flagged off a livelihood empowerment program pegged at nearly 1 billion naira, targeting beneficiaries in Dutse and Gagarawa local government areas of the state. Muhammad Musa Askira reports that the initiative also featured the distribution of school materials with the aim of attracting at least 1,000 Fulani children back to the classroom at Gagarawa.
The empowerment exercise, which took place in Dutse and Gagarawa, featured the distribution of various livelihood support items, including 17 commercial vehicles, motorcycles, bicycles, sewing machines, grinding machines, power generators, cold rooms and photographic equipment. Also distributed were food items and marriage support materials, crowned up by the commissioning of a large capacity conference hall and Hajia Mariam Namadi Memorial School, all designed to promote self-reliance and improve the standard of living among residents in the two local government areas. Governor Umar Namadi commended local government chairmen and legislators in the state who support the implementation of his administration's 12-point agenda. The state government has remained steadfast in transforming Jigawa into a more economically viable state, while citizens' livelihoods continue to improve through inclusive developments and empowerment initiatives.
In Zagara local government today, there is no opposition. Everybody is with the local government chairman. Everybody is supporting him. Everybody is praying for him. And we can see what he has done today for his people. You can see that I have commissioned at least about 3 different projects. Now he has extended light from the substation to the Gagara.
Welcome South Africa giant Mamelodi Sundowns also on Sunday.
Into the group stages rest more on Rivers United as opposed to Remo Stars, because really the game against Mamelodi Sundowns, those majority of those players played with the Bafana. They are not much rusty, their experience fell, so it's going to be a problem for Remo Stars.
In another development, the Atlas Lions of Morocco will now face Argentina in Sunday's final of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup after Matthew Silvetti's goal helped the South Americans edge past Colombia 1-0 in the second semi-final. Africa will be watching with pride as Morocco chase history in the championship match. Morocco made history by becoming only the third African nation to reach the FIFA Under-20 World Cup final, following in the footsteps of Ghana and Nigeria. The North Africans on Wednesday recorded a dramatic 5-4 penalty shootout victory over France, following a tense 1-0 draw after extra time. That is it on Sport. Is back to Jemai.
Thank you, Francisca. And now to our survey result. We ask you, what do you think should drive defections by politicians across Nigerian parties if the need arises. Now, 43.3% of our respondents ticked personal ambition, while 31.8% chose party ideology, and another 15.9% chose successes of the ruling party, and 9% ticked internal party crisis. And just before we go, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State appears to have set new standards in leadership and governance, and the result is a preponderance of unprecedented achievements. From Gwaram to Roni, Guri to Taura, indigenes of Jigawa are acknowledging the inclusive governance and developmental strides, renewing hopes and raising confidence in government. Join us on the NTA Network service tonight for a full package of a documentary that speaks of all the governor's achievements so far in Jigawa State. The broadcast comes up immediately after the network news. And that's the network news for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. On behalf of the crew, good night.